you're looking at now the AFC playoffs coming through Denver. And at the beginning of the season, we all thought, hey, man, Sean, maybe you should chill out a little bit in terms of this is the 7th, 6, or 17 where I felt like I could really win a Super Bowl with. And we were like, hey, man, pump the brakes. You got the quarterback going in a year, too. You got a lot of young guys. But now you have the number 1 seed right now, if the playoffs started today, in the AFC. His confidence is rubbing off on this team. And you can see that they don't flinch in any situation. All right, everybody, we are back for another incredible Victory Monday. I am Bennie Fowler, and sitting next to KOA's own Dave Logan. 602 yesterday for you. I'm always just gonna I'm just gonna do that every time. 602 yesterday. Broncos get a win at home, 22-19. Bo Nix plays really well, doesn't turn the ball over. Defense does what they normally do. Special teams comes up big. Dave, let's start, man. What is top of mind for you today? I will say this before you say anything. I thought this is the most complete win I've seen the Broncos have in a very long time. Now, it might not be a crazy in terms of the scoring, but this was the most complete offense, defense, and special teams win the Broncos have had in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, yesterday's game, to me, has to be a huge confidence builder for this team. Still a young team. And so they'd won games, with the 7-game winning streak, and now it's 8. And they'd won games in improbable fashion, and they were finding ways to win games. But yesterday's game, I think, should be really a shot of confidence to these guys, because Kansas City had everything to play for.
Yep.
We're completely healthy. I mean, Kansas City, if they come in to Denver yesterday and find a way to beat the Broncos and go to 6-4 instead of 5-5, I mean, they look, and they still have Denver again in Kansas City. So it just puts a completely different sort of feel on the remaining portion of the season. But I thought it was their best game of the year. I thought that, there's things you're always going to pick out after a game that you need to improve on. That's why they pay coaches. But
that's why you get paid.
I wish I did get paid, right? I'd like to even break even. If I could just break even, I'd be good. But I think, man, the Broncos should feel real good about what they accomplished. And here may be the most important thing from my standpoint. The defensive players, and you haven't heard a word about anything, with respect to the offense. Hey, is the offense ever going to get going? I haven't heard anything from any defensive guys, even off the record. Normally, you'll hear a couple of things off the record. Hey, you can't use this, but damn, are they ever gonna? I haven't heard anything like that. But yesterday, the offense came up at crucial times and made plays. Mm-hmm. And that's what, if you're going to have a team that can make a deep run in the playoffs, you already know what your defense is about. Special teams is pretty damn good yesterday as well. And now the offense converting several third down and longs and big plays at crucial times. That was huge for the Broncos.
Huge, and I think it's a confidence win. And you hear Sean Payton say that you get confidence through demonstrated ability. And I think the Broncos have continued to demonstrate things throughout these games. Bo Nix 5-game winning drives, 8 straight wins, 11 straight wins at home. You're looking at now the AFC playoffs coming through Denver. And at the beginning of the season, we all thought, hey, man, Sean, maybe you should chill out a little bit in terms of this is the 7th, 6, or 17 where I felt like I could really win a Super Bowl with. And we were like, hey, man, pump the brakes. You got the quarterback going in a year, too. You got a lot of young guys. But now you have the number 1 seed right now, if the playoffs started today, in the AFC. His confidence is rubbing off on this team. And you can see that they don't flinch in any situation. You've now beat the Super Bowl champions from last year, the Super Bowl runner-up, the Super Bowl from the previous year, Super Bowl winner from the previous year, the number 1 offense, and the number 1 defense. So the Broncos have this team that can go anywhere, anytime, any place, and play football and win a game.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think it was a shot of confidence, and you and I have talked about this before. Even though I think some people say, well, NFL guys just normally are confident. Some are, but as a team, you have to earn that confidence. You earn that in the locker room. Guys that on defense look and see how guys on offense are getting through the week and how they are preparing, and then ultimately, do they go out and play on Sunday, and vice versa. And so yesterday, I mean, you can't underestimate what that win. It's nice to get the 9 wins of the season, but to me, it's more important that if that win would have come against, pick a team, Jacksonville, it would not be as critical in my mind. It would be nice because you're still 9-2.
Yeah.
That the fact you beat Kansas City and you beat them when they were at full strength and they had to have the game. And the way the game ended, right? It was the Broncos defense was terrific the entire game, but we're used to that. We've seen that about every single week almost. The Broncos offense on the last drive, right? The 3rd and 15 conversion. I mean, stop and think about that. If Nix doesn't climb the pocket, roll to his right, hit Cortland on a 3rd and 15 for a gain of 20.
Got the play right here, and they were running 2-man right here.
They were running 2-man, and Court did a nice job of running a dig and then retracing and getting back out. But if they don't make this play, and keep this in mind, this is a 3rd and 15. Prior to this play, the Broncos on the season, on 3rd down and 9 or more, on the season, were 8 of 49. I mean, what is that? 8 of 50 is 16%, so it's a little more than 16%. If they don't convert there, they got to punt it back to the Kansas City offense. And I'm not saying the Denver defense wouldn't have come through, but you're putting Mahomes and company back on the field in a tie game. That, to me, this play, to me, right now, is as it stands today, the play of the year for the Broncos.
And I think that's incredible. And we saw something similar against the Philadelphia Eagles in the fourth quarter comeback, where Cortland runs a deep dig or a deep curl route, and Bo has to deliver a throw. And for those out there who are watching this and listening to this, 3rd and 15, and they're running 2-man, and the Broncos call it double ends. So they run a short end at 12 yards, and then you have your deep end at 18 to 20 yards. When you're running 2-man, you can't. It's meant to stop the in cut.
That's exactly right.
So the defense is meant to stop the in cut. I think Bo does a great job of buying time in the scramble drill by Cortland to come back flat out of that break. That shows that the situational awareness and the late game execution, that is how great teams win championships and Super Bowls. We have applauded Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and all these incredible quarterbacks, John Elway, in terms of late game execution. Bo Nix is now playing in that category of late game execution with the most incredible quarterbacks of all time. He is executing late and when it matters most. Even in the 2nd and 8, the corner to Troy Franklin, to back shoulder that. What did you think about that play?
You know what? I'm not sure that was an intentional back shoulder. I thought Troy made a nice adjustment on the ball.
He also false started.
He did. He twitched, and Kansas City saw it.
Yeah,
they pointed at him.
Football gods.
Yeah,
football gods are on our side.
Yeah, that's right. So I thought it was a good move. Certainly, Franklin with the stick at the top of this route, where that stick to the post freezes the cornerback just momentarily, where he has to honor that. Now, again, that's a ballsy call. Right, KC has 1 timeout left. You do not want to give the ball back to the Kansas City offense with the timeout. And so I honestly thought at that point you're going to throw something that you're either so sure of that you can get a completion, or you're going to run it, hope to get 3 or 4, make them use their last timeout, and then you have 3rd down and 4 to decide what you're going to do. But I credit Sean for the call. And Bo, for the throw, but Franklin made a really nice adjustment on that pass and the catch.
Yeah, I think Sean has had some pretty ballsy calls all year, and sometimes
he's
you wonder.
Not shy on balls, right?
Not at all.
I mean, if we were to say, one of his attributes, I'm just saying. I mean, it's not like he lacks the intestinal fortitude. I mean, this is a guy that onside kicked on the first snap of his career in Denver.
Yeah.
So how are we doing?
Man, it's
you played for him. I mean, so you know him.
Well, as
well as I do.
I think Sean is not scared of any moment, and I think you're starting to see that. I think you're seeing the confidence permeate through the team on all phases. But Sean's not going to go into he doesn't go into the game saying, oh, we're playing Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's like, no, the Chiefs are playing the Broncos, and I'm the coach here. And that's how he calls the game. And yeah, he had some questionable calls. Looking back at it, you think about the first week of the season, you have the 4th and 8, and you go for it. Actually, you the play is open, but everybody's questioning that. But now you're starting to see these things executed late in the season.
Yep.
And I think these are confidence builders. Also, would love to just give Troy Franklin an attaboy right there. Had a couple of drops.
Yeah.
But to go up and catch the ball with your hands right there, I think is super important.
I do too.
And it shows that his confidence didn't waver. As a receiver, sometimes if you drop or you put a couple balls on the ground, all right, I'm going to catch this with my body. I'm going to make sure I secure the catch. He caught a couple of passes late in this game with his hands, which I think is vitally important.
I think it's pretty evident that Bo has a thing for Troy Franklin, right? I mean, you can say, well, they played in college together. I mean, what have you? But I mean, the only thing slowing the emergence of Troy Franklin down now is just what you mentioned, being more consistent as a ball catcher. He's got excellent speed. He's really good after the catch. And he's got the confidence of his quarterback. Because a quarterback that doesn't have confidence is not going to make that throw. Not in that situation on 2nd down and 8. And it's not like he was wide open either. Yep. The coverage was pretty good. It looked like they were playing one free, so the corner has outside leverage anyway. But yeah, I think that with respect to Sean, you give him credit. I thought I saw things in the game plan yesterday that I thought were really good. I mean, when you start to see receivers open, like by NFL standards, like really open, there's a creative sort of thing to those calls in terms of how they're set up and what personnel groupings and the formation. And if we do this, I know we're going to get this. And I thought that yesterday's game was had a little bit of Sean Payton magic to it. But even more importantly than that, I thought Bo Nix took an extraordinary step or two forward after his performance against the Raiders.
When you talk about the Sean Payton magic, I think about the one play that Pat Bryant caught on the corner route.
That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
The personnel was big personnel.
Yep.
You have little Jordan Humphrey. Welcome back to him. You have him come into the game. So
that tells Kansas City you're going to run.
You're going to run the ball.
Or you're going to throw screens.
And you got Pat Bryant in there. So you got your two best blockers in there. So you're thinking screen, and then you got Cortland Sutton in there. LJ goes in motion. Pat Bryant takes the crack angle at the safety, and you could see the safety pause his feet just a little bit, and you know you got him right there. And then Pat Bryant runs the corner. I think you're spot on in terms of the way that Sean called it. And I think that when you get a couple of days off, you get a chance to reflect more. And I think the Broncos have been on the road. They've been playing a lot of games with no break. And I think 3 days off gets you a chance to do a little mini self-scout. And I thought Sean came back. I thought the personnels were actually pretty simple throughout the entire game. Marvin Mims was working his way back, but you saw Pat Bryant out there a ton with Troy Franklin and Cortland Sutton.
I think Pat Bryant's developing into sort of a consistent ball catcher, a guy that you know is going to win. A lot of times in the NFL, I mean, it's rare that you're going to have a receiver just run by somebody and they drop it in and you're a yard and a half, which is really wide open in the NFL. More times than not, when you look at a route, I mean, that thing's going to be contested. So when the ball's in the air, there's two people that actually have a chance to make it. And Pat Bryant's the kind of receiver, I think he's developing into a guy that when that ball's in the air, I feel pretty good about 13 coming down with it.
100%.
Strong hands, big body, tough, makes contested catches, and that is immeasurable in terms of an offense having sustained success.
Yeah, we're looking at the corner route right here, but I thought it was really well designed. And also, you talk about Pat Bryant, hit the first third down, the 3rd and 7 was an out route to him that he converted. So
I thought Kansas City on that route got a little cute. They played, Bryant was in the slot on that play, 3rd down and 8. They play quarters to the slot, and the guy that has to get underneath Bryant is on the line of scrimmage, right? So they're trying to disguise this. They're playing quarters to this side. He's got to run all the way out underneath number 2, running a quick out.
yeah.
So well designed, big play. Again, Bryant catches it and then is strong enough to lean it for enough yardage to get that first down.
Yeah. I thought he did a great job. And then even on the 3rd and 11, what I was really impressed with is now his football knowledge is starting to get up there. So you run double dig again. Cortland's got the big in route. Pat's got the short in route. But the way that he is starting to understand the coverage is like, oh, no, I'm going to stem up to my defender, and I'm going to take 2. Bo steps up in the pocket and delivers a strike to Cortland on a dig route. This is the intermediate passing game that we've been talking about. And
this play, again, this is 3rd and 11.
Yeah.
I gave you the stat earlier. Before this game, of 3rd and 9 or more, the Broncos were 8 for 49 in the game. They had at least 2 that I can remember, conversions, one of 3rd and 11 and one of 3rd and 15.
yeah, you love to see it. Tell me what you saw from Bo. I think I was really impressed with Bo. His confidence, his poise yesterday throughout the entire game.
I agree.
You have to love that if you're Broncos country right now, with him playing quarterback and the stakes being as high as they were yesterday. You're dueling against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they're coming off the bye, and Patrick Mahomes' record and this and that against Denver, and then on the road against AFC West opponents. And the fact that you have an opportunity to really put the nail in the coffin for them in terms of they can't win the division at all. I thought Bo played extremely well. No touchdowns on the board, but 295 yards and no turnovers.
Yeah, that's the key to me. No turnovers. Mahomes had a critical turnover on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter, right, as he threw the pick inside the 20 to Jaquan. But I think from Bo's standpoint, I thought his feet were better, right? I thought his feet were settled. I thought Denver up front, from an offensive line standpoint, won the battle yesterday. I mean, there were a couple of times that Chris Jones got quick penetration, but he's one of the best players we've seen over the last 10, 12 years at that position. So it's going to happen from time to time. And again, I think Bo operates more comfortably when you can spread people out and he can look in a pre-snap way and he can check to see what he believes the coverage is. Going back and looking at that game last night and again this morning, I thought Kansas City was pretty creative in terms of how they disguised coverages in the back end, right? So it's easier, I believe, from a quarterback position, if you're talking strictly about identifying when like a guy like Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator, what he likes to do. If you're in condensed splits and sometimes with multiple tight ends, it's hard to identify where the pressure is going to come from. But when you are spread out, it forces the defense to spread out, and it makes it a little bit tougher on a defense to sort of camouflage their intent before the snap. And I thought Bo was really, I just thought he took 2 or 3 strides in a positive way in terms of being settled in the pocket. His feet were much, much better. And I can't stress to you those 2 completions that we talked about on the opening drive, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11. He hits both of them. First play of the game, again, Spagnuolo dials up a safety fire to the backside. He comes untouched. It's a sack. But they were able to overcome that, and I thought Bo was really good in this game.
Yeah, I thought he was really good, and I thought his progressions. This is the first time I've really seen him go to the 3rd and 4th progression, and I thought he saw the field extremely well. This is my favorite play of the game. It's only an 8-yard completion, but Evan and Ingram comes in motion. They run a stick concept to the front side, his first and second option, and then backside they're running a little spot concept where Troy Franklin has the 5-yard sit and Pat Bryant is coming on a 12-yard basic, but I thought he went from 1 to 2 to 3 really well right here. And I think that's just elite. That's where you take the next step as a quarterback. I'm not going to say elite, but that's where you take the next step as a quarterback in terms of how you're reading things and the receivers being in the right position, and then Pat Bryant obviously catching the ball.
You can see Bo's eyes there. He wants to work to his right.
Yep.
Right, and the stick is covered, and then again, we what'd you call that? We call that a bow to the backside. What do you call that?
I call that a spot concept.
To the top, to the left side?
Yep.
Okay.
So you got like a Z spot right here with the basic.
Yep.
And then if you want to tag the corner, you can tag the corner.
Yep. But again, if you look back at the start of the play, Bo's, after he catches the snap, he's working right.
Yep.
Right there. He's looking right. He knows it's not there, but his feet are still good.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to jitterbug in the pocket. He takes the snap, drops, looks, resets his eyes, and then throws a strike.
Yep, and I mean that's what you want to see as a young quarterback. The Broncos scored on their opening drive, which they haven't done in a really long time. So that was good, man. Let's shift to the defense. Defense continues to play elite. Jaquan McMillan gets the game ball.
How about him?
He might get AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
You think?
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Week.
If anybody else wins,
I'm trying to think of who else.
No,
any other performances out there?
We need to recount the ballots.
Maybe. Well, I guess because they lost.
Who?
Myles Garrett won't get it, but
what do you have?
5 sacks or something like that.
We're getting used to that with Myles, right?
He's the only player in NFL history to have 5 straight seasons of 12 sacks or more.
Good?
Jeez. Yeah. Cleveland's a clown show. But back to the Broncos.
Hurts me. It does.
My bad.
It's been a lot of years playing back there, but you're right. Oh boy.
Man. Jaquan McMillan, 2 sacks, an interception. I thought played extremely well, but when you think about a championship defense and when you think about Super Bowl winning teams and Super Bowl caliber teams, defense has to be able to step up and make plays. And you lose Singleton, and glad that they caught everything early with him.
Yeah.
Thank God they caught everything early with him, so prayers to him. Pat Surtain is out, and you are still able to shut down Mahomes. Panic. They're coming off a bye week, and they're coming off, like you said, fully healthy into this game. And Andy Reid had a couple weeks to prepare for this pass rush.
Yep.
And I thought Vance Joseph, who will get, I believe, Assistant Coach of the Year, and he will get his opportunity to get back to be a head coach.
He's going to have multiple opportunities.
Yeah.
And good for Vance.
Great for him. If I'm the Broncos ownership right now, and Broncos ownership, listen to me, just pay him like a head coach so he can stay here, because what he is doing right now is just elite level of coordination of this defense.
Now, you know that's not going to happen, right?
Hey, you could
I mean, they've certainly got enough money. I wonder what the highest paid defensive coordinator makes.
Who is the highest paid DC? Who would be in that category right now?
Well, Steve Spagnuolo of Kansas City would be in that category. Vic Fangio of the Eagles would be in that category. I would bet the highest paid defensive coordinator is somewhere between $3 and $5 million.
Fangio, $4.5 million. Mike Zimmer, the Cowboys, $4 million.
Okay, that's between 3 and 5.
I'd give Vance $10 million. You wouldn't?
I personally would.
Why are you looking at me like that?
But no,
you wouldn't do it.
No, listen, I think he's been great. I'm a huge Vance Joseph fan. I just don't know that they're gonna recalibrate the defensive coordinator market. You've had the other 31 owners like saying, "Bro, what are you doing?" But he'd be worth every penny. I think that would be my point. I thought with Jaquan, a couple things struck me as that game unfolded, and then of course right after the game. Here's a guy. If you think back to the draft, Jahdae Barron was drafted, and there were plenty of Broncos fans that were saying that means Jaquan is out. Mm-hmm. Right? He just kept working. I mean, he's a hard-working, dedicated player, smart. And again, I talked about the play of the game being the 3rd down and 15 conversion with Nix to Cortland. If Jaquan on 3rd down doesn't have that huge sack of Pat Mahomes, which forced the Chiefs to punt the ball, then maybe we don't get a chance to see the 3rd down and 15 completion from Nix to Sutton. The thing that I was really impressed on that particular blitz, I thought they completely fooled one of the great quarterbacks in the game. Jaquan on that fire came from distance, and I believe there was a trips look to the wide side of the field to the left. He's the cover on number 2, the middle receiver. He comes off the edge, and then they ran they had both the inside backers up in the line of scrimmage, and then Dre Greenlaw dropped out and actually took from an inside coverage leverage. He took the number 3 receiver. So that's a convoluted way of saying, hey, I thought that blitz was just as important as the completion that followed it in the next series.
100%. I think Vance Joseph has called great games. I think he's done a really good job.
Yep.
And then also the players being on the same page, I think is really important. When you lose the Defensive Player of the Year, you expect your defense to fall off. I think they only get better as the season continues to go on, because now when Pat comes back, I think when you come back off an injury, you have a different level of seeing things. And I saw Singleton on the sideline taking notes.
Yeah.
And I think these guys are going to come back and play even faster, even better. Hey, there might be holes in the defense, but to hold the Chiefs to 19 points, 1 TD and 4 red zone trips with an interception. I mean, against, like you said, one of the great quarterbacks, and then one of the great offensive minds in Andy Reid, shows that this is a Super Bowl defense. Now, they might not be the number 1 in all the categories for the defense, but they are the number 1 defense in the NFL with the way they've played.
I thought, we talk a lot about, and understandably and rightfully so, about the edge pressure with Benito and Cooper. And, Ellis was hurt. Dondre Tillman has proven to be what a find that guy has been. But I thought yesterday there was a lot of action inside. I thought Denver with Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers and Malcolm Roach and DJ Jones, I thought they got after, in terms of pass rush, they got after Kansas City. And what I saw as the game wore on was Mahomes becoming a little unsettled.
Yep.
Right? And his feet, there's not any quarterback that's ever played the game that if you start harassing that quarterback and he's like a Miller moth in a stiff breeze, he's bouncing all over the place. I saw a little bit of that from Mahomes. And if you go back and look at it, man, Zach Allen, Malcolm Roach, John Franklin Myers, DJ Jones, they were aggressive and active up front in the interior part of that defense.
Andy Reid's game plan was to get the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands was really quick. So half of his passes, he released the ball with 2.2 seconds. That means that the pass rush was getting there, and also they were very aware. 3 sacks for the Broncos defense, 8 QB hits, 15 pressures. And this is Andy Reid coming off the bye, and it didn't seem like it helped at all. And I think that's a shout-out to this defense, a shout-out to this defense playing fast, physical. I never really saw – I understand, I was just telling these guys upstairs, I never – at least when I was here, you want to win your division games, but I didn't think there was like a real Kansas City Broncos rivalry. And I understand why Denver has hated Kansas City so much because of the win streak here, and then they've won the Super Bowls. But I can see a little rivalry brewing now. That game was chippy.
Oh, yeah.
It was physical.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shit talking. And those are the things that now I think start to make a little rivalry. You got your quarterbacks now in place in Bo and Patrick Mahomes. You got 2 incredible offensive minds and coordinators. And now there was a lot of chippiness back and forth. So I really appreciated just seeing that as a competitor yesterday. Because, when we played Kansas City, I don't know if they hated Payton like how Broncos fans hate Mahomes. I don't know if Kansas – I think they just had a respect for him, and he was 4 years in the division.
I think the Kansas City thing is they've won so much. Anytime you win basically all the time, people get tired of you.
Yeah.
They're just tired. They're tired of seeing your face.
Are they tired of seeing you around here?
Absolutely. And I get it. But with Mahomes, I think what struck me yesterday was Denver, I thought, again, calling the game. You got earphones on, but you can feel, that crowd, you could feel the energy in the stadium. It was different than the other games, and they've had some exciting games for sure.
It was like a Brady game.
Yeah, it had a playoff sort of feel to it for me. And then what I liked was Denver did not lose. In fact, I thought the Broncos won the physical battle.
Yep.
Right. Kelsey's going to get up and talk all the time. I like that. There was chatter right back to him.
Yep.
100%. Right back at him.
Yeah, I thought this was a very convincing Mahomes, we're here now. And I think Vance has played Mahomes well since he's been the coordinator here and confusing him with different looks. And it was really good to see. And I think, watching it on TV and watching it doing the watch along, you could see the camera shaking. And the last time I remember those things, are those types of games here when the crowd was extremely, extremely loud. The only times Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, when they visited this place.
Well, the AFC Championship game, the one you played in prior to Super Bowl 50.
Or even the regular season ones when Brady would come here.
Yeah.
That's how those games were.
Well, and I've said this before, I think Broncos fans are smart fans. They over the years, they've seen some really bad football, they've seen some mediocre football, but they also know what great football looks like. And this is a football town. So when you have a game like that is hyped up, you've got your home team is 8-2, and the team that has been on top forever is 5-4. It had everything you would want. Plus, the weather was spectacular.
Incredible.
Right? It had everything you want just to go out and figuratively speaking, lose your minds for about 3 hours, and that's what Broncos fans did.
AFC Championship feel from 2015.
It did.
It was perfect weather, 65 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You love that. Let's dive to special teams. I think special teams, we have to, Will Lutz, 5 for 5. Marvin Mims with 100 return yards.
How about Frank Crum?
Frank Crum. We were giving Darren Rizzi a lot of heat over the last couple weeks. Yeah, I was. Broncos country as well.
No, I'm playing.
Broncos country as well, because you want the special teams to be better, and we know
they had to be better.
And with this team, with the Super Bowl hopes and aspirations that you have, special teams has to play a very important part. And you saw special teams come up huge yesterday.
Will Lutz.
Yeah.
Right?
Big nuts Lutz.
Will Lutz. Hey, you know
Big
what?
Nuts Lutz.
It's going around the locker room. It's contagious. Get yourself and buy a pair. Discounted rate. The 35-yard field goal, as I'm calling the game, obviously you remember back to last year in Kansas City, 35-yard field goal to win the game. That kick gets blocked. And so I said on the broadcast, I said, I'm not even going to bring up what most Bronco fans are thinking about now. This is a 35-yard field goal for the win. But you're expected to make that. But the kick to tie the game was 54 yards directly down Main Street.
Yeah.
He hit that thing like a howitzer. When you have that kind of confidence in your kicker, then that's a powerful thing. And Mims just continues to be a guy. He's got the highest punt return average in the history of the Broncos franchise. And I played against Rick Upchurch a long time ago and saw him up close and personal. In fact, we played in Denver in a game, and Rick had not one but 2 punt returns.
For touchdowns?
For touchdowns.
Wow.
And I was one of the gunners on the punt team. Now, back then, they could affect your family lineage the way they treated gunners back then. But now he was dynamic. But Mims, before yesterday's averaging over 14 yards per punt return. That's like high school stuff. That's not in the NFL. He's so smooth with what he does. Smooth and
confidence, and shout out to Darren Rizzi and just the way the things were blocked up yesterday.
Yep.
I thought they were blocked up. I thought the Broncos also had an opportunity to block a kick in the punt return game as well. But I think you bring up a really good point. When you're averaging 14 yards as a punt returner, what that does for your offense, that gives your offense the first down.
Yep.
So if you know that you're getting a punt kicked off to you and you're the Broncos, okay, Mims is going to get us the first 10 yards. That's going to be our first down of the series. That does an incredible amount. That gives you an incredible amount of confidence as an offense and then as a play caller. And then also the field position battle, which it very much was a field position battle game yesterday. When you win a 22-19 game. You were playing the field position, and I thought the Broncos won the field possession game handily yesterday.
Also, what it does when you play the Broncos now with Marvin Mims, the opponent's special teams have to spend a lot of time during the week about deciding, are we going to kick the ball to this guy? Now, as good as NFL punters are, obviously, that's the elite level. If you start trying to angle punts away from guys, yes, you're going to get 5 or 6 that hit exactly the way you want to, but I promise you there will be one in there that you shank and goes out of bounds with about 30 yards. Mm-hmm. So he's a weapon that I think is the best in the league, and you saw it yesterday, what it means.
So the Broncos are continuing to win, and I haven't been a person who bets a lot in my life, especially on the betting apps, but working here at DNVR and working with Henry and RK and Zach, they now have gotten me into wanting to put some more money on the Broncos, doing the player props, using the Bet365 app. So now I'm starting to get really involved. And the Broncos being 9-2 obviously is a big reason why. And I think I know a little bit about the game, so why not put my knowledge to the test? Right now at Bet365, they have great offers available for Broncos fans. They have their Thursday night football offer, which is a $10 safety net bet. They have their Sunday night football offer, which is a $365,000 jackpot. Place $10 bet on a first-time touchdown scorer and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Also, with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the Bet365 app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Breaking news from Bet365, new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Disclaimer, you must be 21 years or older or physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Growing up, I loved playing basketball. When I was in the 4th grade through 8th grade, basketball was my favorite sport. It's actually still my favorite sport to this day. I mean, I wish I actually could have played that professionally because the contracts are guaranteed and they make a lot more money. But if you're a parent of a 4th or 8th grade kid and you are someone who's listening who wants to play in a great competitive basketball league here in Colorado, sign up for the Gold Crown Basketball League today. The Gold Crown Foundation was started by Bill Hanslick many years ago, and it still continues to be a staple of this great community. They have divisions for 4th through 8th grade teams. They have a feeder team for high schools and gold, silver, and bronze divisions. You can play in both high school gyms and the Gold Crown Fieldhouse. Gold Crown has leagues in volleyball, golf, flag football. It's a nonprofit organization that serves 18,000 plus kids annually in the Denver metro area. It's also a great way for kids to have fun playing sports while also playing in a competitive environment that's going to help them if they want to continue to keep playing sports in high school and potentially beyond. Learn more and sign up by scanning the QR code on the screen or visiting goldcrownfoundation.com. Well, everybody, we got two-time Super Bowl champion, Ring of Famer Rod Smith joining Broncos X's and O's. Once again, Rod, appreciate you coming back on the show, man. Broncos get a great win, 22-19 yesterday against the Chiefs. Number one, how much do you hate the Chiefs, and what did you love about yesterday's win?
I guess because I went to school in Missouri and all my friends in college were Chiefs fans, that's where the hatred started. And the fact that I had a conversation with them on draft day and they didn't draft me, that pissed me off too. So, but I honestly believe in the last 3 years, I'll say this is the biggest win in Bronco history in 3 years. Well, for the last 3 years, this is the biggest win because that team has dominated us over the last 9 years, 8 or 9 years. and you can't take anything away from that. I hear a lot of people talking about the Chiefs, this, and that. I'm like, no, guys, they earned it. They earned the right. Very well coached, Hall of Fame players. 2 of them are guaranteed to go to Hall of Fame first ballot. Well, all 3 of them with the coach, Mahomes and Kelsey, guaranteed first ballot. And when you're going against that juggernaut, I think our guys stepped up to the challenge. A bunch of young guys who, you know what, they don't know all the history. They just know the current history. And their job was to go out there and fight like a Bronco and come out with a win, and they did that.
Hey, Rod, we were talking before you came on about what impressed us with that win yesterday. We've seen the defense be really good for most, if not the entire year. But I thought offensively, and especially at quarterback and how they executed the passing game, I thought Denver and Bo Nix really took maybe a couple of steps forward yesterday.
Absolutely. You know what? It was crazy because I'm looking for us to run the ball more, and we were actually more aggressive passing the ball, but it was those intermediate passes, those shorter passes. It wasn't all the behind the line of scrimmage screens like we've seen before. I just think the play calling to me for Coach Payton was excellent. He did a great job of keeping the offense moving. And one thing I saw that I was super impressed with, and maybe it's because Dobbins was out, but Harvey and McLaughlin got to run the ball up the middle because usually those are wide guys. They usually they're playing outside the tight ends area when they get the ball. And to see those guys go up the middle and get tough yards, those 3-4 up the middle against that defense, people forget the Chiefs have one of the top defense. They got one of the best defensive coordinators in the history of football. So don't act like this defense is not good. Their offense gets a lot of shine because of the 2 major stars in their coach. But their defense is top notch. Their defensive coordinator can be a head coach at any time. He just keeps choosing to go back to Kansas City.
Rod, tell us, man, what you saw from the receivers. You talked about the intermediate passing game, but talk to us about what you saw from specifically Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, and Cortland Sutton.
I think the key factor was Pat Bryant. He brought them another element on as a third guy, and I've talked about this a lot. I'm sure you guys have talked about it a lot. He's earning trust every single week, and that's what I love from a young guy, getting a chance to earn trust as a rook. He gets in there, he gets 4 chances to touch the ball. He comes down with the play every time. He's moving sticks when he gets the ball. And as a 1 and a 2 as far as receivers, you want a guy like that. You want that other guy to be able to catch the passes, so now they got to start rotating the coverage. I always want Cortland to get more opportunity, but at the biggest moment of the game, fourth quarter, Cortland's there, and Franklin just played well all game. I mean, overall, it could always look a little rough, man. NFL is tough, but the kid is stepping up, man, making plays when his numbers dialed. And I can say this on some of those deeper passes, if Bo just puts a little bit more air under it, we'll get the penalties that Kansas City's getting from guys stopping, coming back to the ball, that type of thing. We don't get those because he overthrows it all the time. You know, he usually throws it a little bit long. But I can tell you, man, I just really love his performance. Some of the keys to the game was Franklin having a big game, and he did. At the biggest moment of the game, he comes through on that corner route, making a great adjustment. And he knew right then that because Luss has been automatic and been a staple for us all for the last since he's been here. He's been money, and so that right there was great. I just love to see their expressions at the end of the game, man. You could see some players took some weight off of them that they've been getting compared to that team. We were supposed to come in last in the division this year, and all that stuff for a moment because we still got a lot of football left. But they going into the bye week with that, it was awesome.
Rod, last question for me. 3 former wide receivers here talking about a defensive back. I mean, we all studied DBs, made our living trying to beat DBs. But I'm going to ask you to put on a DB hat. Riley Moss has had some tough penalties this year.
Yes.
We were chopping it up before you came on, and I thought the first one yesterday was not a good call. I thought the second one he got too handsy on Hollywood Brown coming back. But if you were, based on your play as a wide receiver, if you were to give not only Riley but other defensive backs that are playing the deep ball, if you were to give them a couple of sort of things that could help, what would that be?
The first thing is, why are you letting guys get behind you? To me, that is like the biggest sin of football when you let guys get behind you. And early in the game, they missed some throws that would have turned the game completely around if they hit those throws, right? And Riley is definitely he's getting his share of targets. When Tu's on the other side, he's getting his share of targets, and they're going to come after him. And he's had quite a few penalties. He's just got to move his feet. He plays aggressive enough, but I just think he needs to pick and choose when that aggression comes out, because it's usually on third down. This is when it hurts the most. You know what I'm saying? And because I think in his two PI penalties was over 90 yards alone, just those two. Just imagine what the defense would look like if those 90-yard plays weren't there. I love his demeanor. I saw a little clip after the game that he takes complete ownership. He said he's going to wear some boxing gloves to work with using his hands and stuff like that. But the biggest advantage on offense is the underthrown ball that I think we need to use more of, and that's what he's getting caught on. He get caught on the underthrown ball, and then when they start coming back, he's guaranteed to run into them because he's not looking at the ball yet, and therefore they're going to get a flag or a catch almost every time. So I just love his aggressiveness, but he's got to pick and choose. To me, hang back a little bit. He's a great tackler. He sticks his nose in there, and we need him if we're going to get to where we want to get to. We need Riley Moss.
Rod, man, last question. I really appreciate you joining us. You've been on 2 Super Bowl winning teams.
Yes.
What are the characteristics of this current Broncos team that reminds you of the 2 Super Bowl teams that you played on?
Team. They play like a team. If you look at the special teams yesterday, it was huge. When you play in a team like that who's methodical, they can carve you up, they can go deep, they can go underneath. Of course, Kelsey, like I said, first ballot Hall of Fame, they go underneath with one of the best ever, right? And to control the game with the field position was huge. And I don't think enough people focus on special teams, but our special teams, Mims coming back with the big returns, that was great. The kickoff coverage teams were doing a great job of making them go to long field. And the defense has been solid all year. And the offense actually brought their work boots today, man. They bought it, and they didn't. And it wasn't your traditional style. We've seen that's to me is the difference in how they played. It was more aggressive with the pass and more finesse with the run versus the opposite of what I'm used to seeing. But I loved it because when I'm thinking we're finna run it, he threw it. Mm-hmm. And that to me was like, I was like, oh, okay. I see what, and the fact that we were running downhill at them, they have a good defensive line, and to run at Jones, who's one of the premier defensive linemen in the league, to run at him and be consistent and not shy away from it, to me is a trust with the coach and his offense. It's a trust with the coach and his team. And as a team, in order to win it all 3 phases, and I love how they stick together. They ain't gonna let anybody talk about their quarterback or anybody on their offense or their defense or their special teams. And that's what you got to have. We had a unique group of guys that said, hey, if it's going to happen, it's between all of us. And I love hearing some of the after the game clips. They do the bulletin board thing. You talk about their quarterback, hey, them offensive linemen trying to come at you. And I love that because that's where we were with our quarterback. You know, he's a legend. Bo's moving himself. It's going to take some more years, but I just love the way that kid plays. 295, no turnovers against that defense and that team. They're the premier team on offense in the AFC, and for him to take them down, that was huge.
Rod Smith, Super Bowl champ, Ring of Famer, really appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, Rod.
Let's go to Self-Scout. Bye week. I think it's time to rest, reflect, and then reset.
For me and you, or for?
Definitely for you.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I'm not going to argue with facts.
I think for the Broncos, yeah, you rest, reset, you refocus. How do you think they approach this bye week? Because I've been on 3 teams where we had a legit shot to win it all. And the bye week was not I put it on the shitty teams that I played on. When we had the bye week, I was going back to Michigan State. I was going to have a really good time. On the great teams that I played on, it's a time to rest your body, refocus. You get away from the building a little bit,
yeah.
But you have to stay in shape because now when the Broncos come back, you got 6 games. But now you're playing for the number 1 seed, and you're playing to go deep in the tournament. How do you think they approach it?
Yeah, I think from an NFL player standpoint, there's nothing more exciting with all the work you do in the offseason and then training camp and then preseason games and the regular season. When you wake up in the last handful of games and you've got a legitimate chance not only to win your division but to host numerous or multiple home playoff games, there's nothing like it. Yep. I mean, going to work is more fun. When you win in the NFL, it's it's just a breath of fresh air to have to go to work and to do what you do. When you're losing, there's a lot of guys that just hate coming to work. You got to do it.
Have you been on any teams like that?
I mean, I was on a team that I thought we had a chance to win it all, and it was magical that year, late in the season, come from behind victories. But to your point, I mean, guys, we had the bye week going into the playoffs, and just like you said, I mean, sometimes during a bye in the regular season, if you're playing on a lousy team, you're like, hey, I'm going to get out of here. Or maybe I go to Vegas for 3 or 4 days, or maybe I completely
Did you go to Vegas?
Disconnect.
You're a Vegas guy?
I love Vegas.
Oh, so you went to Vegas during your bye weeks?
No, well, we didn't have a bye week. Yeah,
you guys were real players.
We're playing back in the black and white era, and I don't mean ethnically. I mean TV wise. But no, I think the point of it is, as you said, the Broncos feel real good about where they are, and I think Sean Payton and George Payton and everybody else out there has been intentional with who they have brought in. Mm-hmm. Not only are they good players, but they're good character guys. They're good. You hear that phrase all the time. Is he a good locker room guy? That means, can the young guys watch the guy you bring in the locker room after practice, before practice, his training habits? How does he lift? How does he eat? How does he take care of himself away from the field? Can those young dudes look at that guy and say, man, I'm going to do what he does because he's having a lot of success?
I could see some of these guys actually not going anywhere for the bye week and really just sticking around here. And
yeah, me too.
And having some team dinners, some team bonding type things. Hey, we're going to go into the facility maybe 1 or 2 days, but we're going to get away from the facility.
Yep.
But
hang out.
Yep.
You like hanging out with your teammates a hell of a lot more when you're winning like this.
100%. And you bring up a good point. Your level of focus and their level of focus are going to ratchet up even more, especially when they come back from this bye. But they're going to be excited to get into that building.
Oh, man.
I've been in that building for 2 years where you love coming to work, and then, 3 years. You love coming to work, and there's a level of intensity. And then I've been in that building 1 year where you sit out in the parking lot and you wait until it's time to start the meeting, when that 8 o'clock meeting, like, I'm going to go in there at 7:57.
Ooh.
And you hate that. And I'm glad that the Broncos are now out of that, and they are now playing meaningful and winning football late into the season. So, yeah, the penalties have to be fixed over this next couple of weeks. 10 penalties for 147. You're the most penalized team. I think that's got to be cleaned up. Do you see anything else that needs to be cleaned up?
Well, no. The penalties, I think, 2 of those, Riley gets 2 pass interference penalties. And I'll comment from a receiver standpoint. The first one I thought really was not a good call. And I think Riley, unfortunately, has earned the scrutiny of NFL officials. Mm-hmm. And you say, like, well, that's not fair. Why would that be? Listen, NFL officials study tape, and they look to see over the 3-game stretch prior to the game they're going to work, how many calls went against this team and who are the calls on. Mm-hmm. And so I would deduce it's human nature that if you look and see how many calls against number 21 of the Broncos, you're going to think, like, well, maybe this guy has earned some of this. So there's a predisposition, unfortunately, with officials. Now, officials watching this are probably going to say, you're full of it. That doesn't happen. I'm just telling you, that's my experience in the league. I had 3 OPI penalties in my NFL career, all 3 by the same official. Now, I'm not saying I thought they were not good calls, but I'm not saying it was on purpose. But I just think there was a predisposition to how I played in terms of getting open, and he looked at it a little bit differently. I think the first pass interference call on Riley is not a good call.
Yeah.
I think the second one, he's got to be better. He's in perfect position, but it is tough. And that was on Hollywood Brown late in the game, 3rd and 19.
Yeah.
The ball's underthrown, so Hollywood's putting on the brakes and trying to fight back. At that point, it's human nature. Your inclination is to reach in with those hands and try to impede that guy a little bit.
Yeah.
You've got to find ways not to do that. And I think he's a really good young player.
He is.
But he's got to find ways not to impact the game like that in a negative way. 100%.
Well, Dave,
Yes,
it's always good to spend some time with you, man. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this. And
I do too.
Rod makes us feel really good. He makes me feel really good. I'm like, oh man, I think I know what I'm talking about.
No, yeah, absolutely you do. And Rod is, Rod is smart. I always enjoy talking to him, just talking about football. He loves the Broncos, which, we both have an appreciation for guys like that. But one of the great, I would say Rod Smith, honestly, and he's gone now, but he's not like dead now, but he's gone from the show. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
100%.
I just don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully it winds up happening.
I mean, 2 Super Bowl champions led or has the Denver Broncos receiving record. I mean, I think his body of work speaks for itself.
I do too.
Well, everybody, that's another episode of Broncos, X's, and O's. Really appreciate you joining us. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for joining us.
We all silly like the mayor.